Welcome back to another episode of the Strength Forward Podcast. Today I have a guest on. Her name is Hannah Thompson. She is a competitor in the sport of CrossFit. She is a fantastic athlete. I'm going to let her give you guys a little bit of a look behind the scenes of what it is to be a competitor and train and do all the things. I'm really excited for her to give you guys some insight on what that looks like. She just did a High Rocks competition yesterday, so I'm kind of excited to talk about that. But she's a fantastic athlete, and I'm excited to get to know her as a person over this podcast. This is our first time interacting, really. First time meeting, so this is great. Why don't you give us a little intro into just who you are, how you got into CrossFit, and the whole thing?
Yeah. So I've been in CrossFit for about 5 years now. So started in fall of 2019. Originally started to be a collegiate cheerleader and be stronger. And then that did not work out. The getting stronger part did happen, but being a cheerleader didn't. And so then decided that CrossFit's kind of cool and I'll try to compete in it. And so that's kind of what kicked it off.
Nice.
So here we are now.
So you stepped into CrossFit just to help you be a better cheerleading athlete. That was your main goal.
Yeah. I had a coworker and he kept harping on you should try CrossFit. You need to try CrossFit. And I watched the documentaries on Netflix and I was like, I don't know if I really want to. Those people are insane. And then, as a cheerleader, trying to be as small as possible, I was like, no, I don't want to do that. And then I did a class and I was awful. Coach straight up handed me a PVC pipe because I'd never touched a barbell. And I was really bad. It was really mortifying. Everyone was significantly older than me and they beat me in the workout. And I was like, no, I'm going back. I'm going to do this. I'm going to start beating people. I do not want to lose to literally people the age of my grandparents were kicking my butt.
Really?
Yep. So then I started doing that to be stronger and be better at cheerleading. And then the cheerleading didn't happen.
Yeah. So what school did you go to?
I went to UNT for a while. I didn't finish. And so then I started coaching full-time.
Coaching CrossFit full-time?
CrossFit and gymnastics, yeah.
Okay. So what was that first day like? You said, what was your first workout?
It was snatches for strength. And then it was running and snatches and burpees. So quite literally. Awesome. Yeah, it was. I won the first round of the workout. I just was the last one to finish.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So you didn't know anything about pacing yet?
No. I had a PVC pipe. And I'm pretty sure I didn't know how to burpee.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was.
And so you do that first workout. You have a terrible experience. How long was it before you came back?
Immediately. I signed up for the one-on-one class. I was mortified, but also I'm that type of person that I'm that's not ever happening again. They will not be me.
That's awesome. So you realize right then you're I have to do this.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay.
I thought I was hot stuff going into that class, and I was not.
That's so funny. You know what's funny is that's actually the complete opposite of the experience I had. I think if I had experience like that, I probably wouldn't have done CrossFit. But I was already I was playing sports. I was pretty strong, pretty good shape, and I did the first workout, and I beat people, and I did good, and I was like, I like this. I want to keep going. Completely different experience.
Can't relate.
Yeah,
that's so annoying.
So I've heard a lot of people with your story. They're my first workout was awful, but it hooked them. They're I'm doing this. So walk us through. So you start going to classes. When did this? How long was it before it became something you realized? Okay, I want to start competing, or I'm enjoying this, or I'm getting good at this.
Yeah. So I did my first. Well, I signed up to do the Open. It came out, and that was when the Open was still in the fall. So the 2020 Open. I had people in the gym that were almost making it sound like I couldn't be a member if I didn't sign up for the Open. They just were tricking me into doing it. And so signed up to do it, didn't know what I was doing. And I was like, that was awful. Also loved it. And then there was a competitors class that happened twice a week at the gym, but it was kind of more of an invite only. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get an invitation to go into this class. So I just kept working on things until they're like, hey, do you want to come into the class? And I was like, yes, I do.
Actually, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And so at the time I was still doing cheerleading, so it still really wasn't the focus. I just really enjoyed doing CrossFit. And then about 2 years into CrossFit, I was, seeing someone and they were like, have you ever thought about competing? Like actually trying? And I was like, no,
Not
but
really.
I could. Yeah. So at the time, still was very like basic level. So I started doing like a general program that I followed online, and then hurt my shoulder, took a step back, got back into it, and then had a coach, and then now here I am, and I'm just training with some really fit individuals.
Yeah. You trained with Logan, right? Logan Jenkins? Yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Were you, I can't remember. Were you on a team with him? Did you do team?
So yeah, they reached out this last season. So I did TFX, the fittest experience, which is in Texas here. It's one of the bigger competitions that we have in Texas. I had a team there. We were pro team. Logan had his team there. After that happened, the team that I went to TFX decided not to do the season. So then I was searching for a team like towards the open. And Logan had reached out and he was like, hey, I've got a couple of dudes here. We're looking for females. Kind of went through that whole process. Logan's very intentional about it. So like FaceTimed immediately, like was like, what's your back squat? What's your deadlift? Like just the whole, and he's like typing away. And then going into TFX, I'd broken my ankle at Wodapalooza.
No.
Yeah, I ripped all that stuff up. And the reason they had reached out at TFX is because I was the only girl that did max ring muscle ups for like this pro showcase. You got to pick one person per max set of something. And the muscle ups was like the only thing I could do with my ankle. And so he's like, we're going to pick this girl with the max ring muscle ups.
That's crazy.
And he was very disappointed when he found out what my max number was. He was like, okay. But then still went down to train and then decided to go team that season with them.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, Logan's definitely. So I just did a team with him.
Yeah, good beach brawl.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed working with him because he was so analytical and just so like everything was thought through. It was planned out. He was very just like similar to you. He called. He's like writing stuff down. It's like I actually loved that, and it made our work really well. So Logan's a good dude. I'm glad you're connected with him. That's awesome.
Him and his
So
awesome.
yeah, he's excellent. Well, actually, I'm doing a podcast with him next week on.
He mentioned that.
Yeah.
We're at the gym. Like we spend probably like all day in the gym. So
yeah, you're in that phase where you're living at the gym right now.
Yeah, work there and then train there.
Bring your food there, you shower there, you change there.
Oh, I will not shower there. I can't do it. I can't do it. Mm-mm. I live like 7 minutes from the gym, so I come home and get ready, but I cannot. There's something about a gym shower. Mm-mm.
Oh, that's hilarious. See, I'm the opposite. I actually love it. I'm like, something about it. This is awesome. Okay, so I want to get back into your journey here. When did you get like? You said your numbers weren't that great at the start. You're like your max lift. You're really strong now, right? Like,
there's been a huge improvement.
Yeah, isn't that like? Again, you tell me. Are you more like a barbell specialist now?
I wouldn't say I'm a barbell specialist. I would still say if a max lift comes out, it's not a weakness, but I'm enough to hang with all the other girls. But like my 90% for multiple reps is kind of like my sweet spot. So being able to hit that is what helps. Again, we've gotten stronger, but it's at like max power output, which even within the past 2 months of training has improved a lot. More of like a specialty is like any Metcon. Like toes to bar, chest to bar, a lot of gymnastic stuff is kind of where I'm gonna excel.
Yeah,
something long and gritty.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, what's been the biggest thing you've learned so far then? Like, I've gone through this journey, and you've been progressing and failing, and all the things.
Yeah, it was. I think honestly the biggest thing is coming from a sport where I didn't feel like I was ever enough, and then building confidence and getting into CrossFit. Like it's given me a lot of confidence, especially as a female.
Yeah.
So lifting heavy barbells or doing Metcons, and that's been the biggest thing for me. Probably kept me in CrossFit is it just makes me feel.
Yeah. What do you actually want to hit on that a little more? What do you mean by that? It's built your confidence as a female. Like in what way?
So yeah, before I got into CrossFit, I would say I was very, very insecure. Even when it came to like talking to people, I was a gymnastics coach, so I kind of would talk to some people there, but I just would prefer to be like a fly on the wall type thing. I'm gonna kind of go unnoticed, and so I think it's just really pushed me into being the person I am today. And I wouldn't say that's like boastful or like super out there, but I don't. It's more of a feeling. Like I just don't feel like I don't belong somewhere or something like that.
Yeah. And so CrossFit's really helped you, like getting stronger and better.
Yeah, being around people. Yeah.
Yeah, and now you're coaching full time, so you kind of have to be.
Yeah, yeah. I enjoy it. I really do.
Was it hard going from coaching cheerleading and gymnastics to coaching CrossFit? Was that a tough transition?
I think coaching gymnastics made it easier for me to like look at someone's movement and really just break it apart. And so in that sense it helped. But going from coaching kids into coaching adults, which we all know are like grown kids, but they don't just like fly over their head when you're coaching an adult. So I think I had to change how I approached people in that sense.
Yeah, it is really hard to coach adults, especially in the CrossFit world, because they're like that hour that they're there, like they don't take it serious you or I do. They're training. They train hard and they love it,
Yes.
but they don't care like we care.
No.
Like, they don't. They're there to socialize,
And
talk
you can't
crap.
make them want it.
Yeah, and they're paying you, so you're like, well, I mean, if you don't want to do it, I can't make you do it.
I know, it's hard to not take it personal sometimes.
Very hard. Yeah, there was when I would coach the 4:30 class a long time ago, there was a group of guys that were just a bunch of hoodlums. I don't even know how to describe them. And I basically would just like try to keep them from doing anything.
Yeah.
Just stay in this area, guys. Don't be too loud, and just
Yep.
try to do something productive.
Yep.
It can be super hard.
Yeah. To keep them on pace, and they're adults too, so you don't want you can't make them.
Yeah.
Like a kid, you could kind of like, hey, like I'm not going to give you a piece of chocolate after class if you don't get over here.
Yeah, kids
Adults don't care. They do not.
They're like, fine, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, they're like, you can keep your sticker to yourself. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, little kids love a sticker. They'll do anything.
Yeah.
They're so funny.
Mm-hmm.
So what does your look like now?
What did you say?
So what does your training look like now as you're progressing into the season? What are you guys focusing on the most right now?
Yeah, so I just recently switched kind of programming that I'm following. I train with Logan and then two other guys named Nathan and Gage. And so we start at like 10 a.m. most days and then probably end around like 2:30, 3, just depending. But we are going. Like the volume is been basically. Yeah, we'll hit like a longer warm-up piece, prime the body. Then it's either like a skill Metcon or some strength stuff, lots of accessories, another Metcon, more accessories, and then some type of like a pump.
Jeez. Yeah. That's awesome. And who's writing it?
Logan.
Is he?
Yeah, Logan writes all of his own programming and stuff like that. So now that we're all kind of following the same thing, we just go in there, and sometimes it looks different. So I've been working on like my pressing because that's probably more of a weakness. I've had like a shoulder thing, and so we've been making that stronger, which is doing a lot better now. But so he'll go off and kind of do one thing, but then I'm doing the other stuff that we're both pressing. We're just doing something different.
Gotcha. Yeah. So what happened to your shoulder?
I mean, just like any other CrossFitter, I have like a torn rotator cuff in my right shoulder. I had surgery 3 years ago on my left shoulder for a labrum tear. So the right shoulder has been acting up, and it's just probably from overcompensation. So we're just trying to strengthen both of them so it's not an issue.
Yeah. Shoulders get up in this sport, that's for sure.
Yeah, if you don't take care of them, and I was not taking care of my shoulders, especially like 3 years ago. Like I was just trying to go so fast, 100 miles an hour, to be as competitive as possible, that it was not healthy.
Yeah.
So
So
it
what is that?
slow down.
What does taking care of them look like now for you? Like what kind of stuff do you do for your shoulders?
So we're doing like bulletproof shoulders. So
Like
there's
cross
like
country
5
stuff?
different movements. Yeah, like crossover symmetry, loaded movements, so weighted. It changes kind of daily protocol. I mean, other than like crossover symmetry is what we're doing almost anytime that we have any upper body thing, or like hip symmetry or something like that. But it'll either be like dumbbell press, so like unilateral work, or like pullovers or lat strengthening, or it's kind of those little accessories that if you neglect it, which I was, and just hitting like metcons or strength pieces, takes its toll.
Oh, it does for sure. Yeah, I'm a huge proponent. I love anytime you can add in dumbbell work and just keep the body balanced. You have because like you said, when you're working that hard, that fast, that aggressively, when you get tired, you're gonna compensate. You're not even gonna know it. Shifting and moving weird, and then if you don't take time to recover afterwards, it adds up.
Yep, that was me.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I find that a lot of people, so because you say you're 24, right? You're 24. I'm 32 now, which is crazy to say. But when you first start out in this sport, at least for me, it was that just like you're go 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 go. Don't take time to recover. You're gonna break. Either you're gonna finish the workout and do whatever, or you're gonna break doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you progress, you figure out, okay, maybe I have to do this a little bit more methodically.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of in that phase where it's like now you're learning, okay, I'm gonna have to tweak this a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You have to take extra time doing something to help, or it's like sleeping, and eating, and all of that has to be aligned.
Yeah. So what does your eating look like?
What is what?
What's your eating look like right now? What's your nutrition look like?
I think we're close to about like 3,000 calories a day.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I work with a nutrition coach. She's been amazing. I've been working with her for about a year now. And I mean, I wasn't eating poorly before. I just wasn't eating enough. So my body was like breaking down, and I wasn't sleeping at the time either. So like sleeping and eating wasn't aligned, but that's because work at the time didn't really allow me to do that. And so I was like, all right, I need to get my eating under control if I'm not going to be sleeping. And so started working with Jocelyn, and she's like, you need to cut back on the energy drinks and eat more food, which we did. So it's been a game changer. Like I just feel so much better.
Really?
Breakfast, snacks. Yeah. I mean, I meal prep everything.
Yeah.
So.
What are your macros right now?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would have to look that up. I don't know if I can.
You're probably crazy high on carbohydrates.
Carbs. A few months ago, I think it was like 300 grams. So not insane. I want to say like protein was like 180 something.
Yeah.
And then fats 80, 90 possibly.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Yeah. Usually a ton of protein. I think the most carbs I was eating at one point in time was close to 500. And that was a pretty, yeah. But I'm also, I mean, I'm a bigger human.
Yeah, bigger. Yeah.
It takes, you have to factor that in. But fat was never over 100.
No, yeah, I wouldn't say fats are really ever that high. If anything, I have a hard time getting my fats in.
Really?
So, yeah, I mean, because I cook everything myself. And so carbs are there, like rice, fruits, all of that. So it's like adding things like avocado or almond butter or something like that to help.
Do you eat that at all? I mean, I'm sure you do from time.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I'm not crazy. So if I'm going out with friends or something like that, like I'm going to go pick up food while we're out there. But for the most part, I would say it's like 95% of the time I'm eating at home. It's like one meal a weekend or something like that. I just enjoy it. Like I enjoy the food. I enjoy the simplicity. And I'll eat socially out with people, or like, again, I'll have a cookie or ice cream. I'm not crazy. But most of the time it's just meal prep.
You're not a nutrition Nazi? You're not diabolical about it?
No. I enjoy life.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to bring up because a lot of people don't. They they go too extreme one way or the other, and it leads to burnout. Honestly, it leads like your mental health takes a toll.
Yeah, I think when I started to really get into competing, I would not go out or eat out at all. Yeah. Like I would eat before and I'd just like sit there. You would not catch me drinking a beer or margarita either. I was like, nope. I'm instantly not going to be fit if I do that. I mean, now it's different. So again, learning to find a balance, I think over the past like couple years has been super important. It's what's kept me going because I'm just not crazy about it. Come season, like everything kind of gets reined in a little bit more, but again, not over the top.
Yeah. Well, what's been super helpful in helping you learn that, like loosen up the reins?
I don't remember who it was, but I think I was just on social media, and it's someone who's like in the top of the sport. So sorry.
That's totally okay.
In the hallway. Yeah,
Totally
I don't
okay.
remember who. You're good, Storms. Sit. Sit. Lay down. Sorry. My guard dog, who probably wouldn't hurt anyone, but she will let you know that they're there.
Is it a girl or a boy?
It's a girl. Her name's Stormzy.
Stormzy.
Little Aussie doodle. So she's really cute, super friendly, very verbal.
So she thinks you're threatened.
I think she'd make friends with a burglar. I really do. Like she barks at everything outside the window, but she does not know a stranger. So yeah, she's cute. She's really sweet. Again, I'm on my own if someone breaks in.
Jeez.
Anyways, I don't remember who the athlete was, but they were talking about how they still had a life outside of the gym. And I mean, I had conversations with other people, like my grandparents and my twin, that had just kind of noticed how I pulled back a little bit more. And that was just, again, so hyper focused on being the best that I just wasn't enjoying other things in life. And so after reading that like there are athletes out there that have a life, or go grab a margarita with friends, or go out and eat tacos. Like you can still do it. You can still be fit and have a life. And I was like, I kind of want to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, over time just transitioned into like, well, I have friends and they're asking me to go out. So I'm going to do it.
Yeah. You have to.
Yeah.
You're going to look back. I guess I can say this. You'll look back and be like, man, I wish I would have.
You're not that.
At least a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. That was kind of where we were at.
It's kind of, I don't know if you ever struggle with this, but, I still struggle with this as someone who's, still aspiring to compete.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you hear stories about, I know you know who Froning is, I know you know who Matt is and all them. You hear the stories about when they were really competing and winning, how like obsessed they were and how selfish they were,
mm-hmm.
and they just didn't care. And I think about that sometimes. I'm like, man, that just might be how it has to be in order to be really good. And I'm just not really sure if I want that. Like, I want to be competitive and be good, but I don't really want to miss out on opportunities. Like, I'm not going to go to my friend's bachelor if I'm like in his way that like they did. It's like, I don't want to miss that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever think about that stuff.
Yeah, like if it's going to be worth it. Like if you got to the top and you sacrificed everything, it honestly wouldn't be worth it. I mean, what they say is like you don't want to be lonely at the top.
Yeah.
Like you just don't. And I think to a certain extent, like your goals are selfish. Like you do have to be a little selfish, but that doesn't have to mean that you only think of yourself and only do things for yourself. Like it honestly just sounds miserable. There are times that I'm like, hey, come like Christmas time, like, well, I'll go see family, but I'm like, I need 3 hours to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And then I am like, all yours. Like, we will have family time. Like, that type of thing is being selfish, but you're not saying, can't go to Christmas.
Yeah.
Do it. Like, that's just, to me, that's the difference, is that I'm not giving up anything. I'm just carving out time me time, what I need to do. And that's me being selfish.
Yeah. And I think too, at least mine, and I think yours too, usually they're really understanding. They're like, yeah, sure. Like, go do it.
They are now. My family is now. They're like, all right, she's not just crazy.
So was it like that at first a little bit?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I was the only one to sign up to do CrossFit. My grandparents are like my parents, so they raised my twin and I. And when I signed up, they're like, oh, why would you spend all that money to go to a gym? Like, you could just do that at the YMCA. My grandpa was like, I got you a membership over there. And I'm like, no, it's different. It's different. And then after a couple months, they're like, dang, she actually really enjoys this. My grandpa started doing CrossFit.
No way.
And yeah, but he didn't tell me about it. Because at the time, yes. Oh my gosh. I found out way before he told me. So I started questioning him at home all the time, like harassing him about it. I was like, oh, you went to the gym? Like, what did you do? And he's like, just like leg stuff. But
he didn't want to tell you?
He wouldn't tell me he was in CrossFit. His whole intention was to start CrossFit. And he goes, when I beat her in a workout, then I'll tell her.
That's
and it didn't happen. And it eventually just like slipped out. And he was like, I have something to tell you. I was like, I know. Like, I know you're at CrossFit. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He sounds great. I love him.
Yeah, he is. He's awesome. Mm-hmm.
And so how long has he been doing it?
Well, he did it for like a couple of years. He was a pilot at the time when he started. He's since now retired. And so did it for a couple of years, and then COVID happened, job stuff. Then he was like on and off, and then he went to seminary school, and then he was like traveling to Oklahoma every weekend, and he just was like, I don't have time to do this. So he stopped, and then he picked it up again for a little bit, but then I moved here. And so he's like, I'm not going. You're not there. I'm not going. So we got to get him back into the gym. But yeah, he was on and off for a bit.
Oh, your grandpa sounds like a super interesting guy.
He is. He's the most humble person and generous person I know. Very smart. It's really annoying.
He knows a lot about a lot.
Yeah, and he loves being a student. Like growing up, I mean, this guy is still in school, in seminary school, and writes papers and like studies. And the professor's like, just give me a page or two on whatever topic. And he's typing up like 7.
That's awesome.
What? You could not catch me typing 7 pages.
Yeah, no shot. I'm not doing that.
No.
So how old is your grandpa?
My grandpa, I think he's 68.
He's still just cranking it out.
Mm-hmm. He loves it. He does.
So that's really inspiring.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. I want to come back to something you said earlier because I don't want to gloss over it. You joined CrossFit during the pandemic, that 2020 year.
Yeah. So I started in the fall of 2019. And then I distinctly remember going for a ski trip in the spring of 2020. Went back to CrossFit for maybe a week, and then everything shut down. Like, I remember hearing about COVID coming out and like being on social media and being talks of like everything shutting down. And I was like, oh, man, I really hope it doesn't shut down. Like, the gym better stay open. It didn't. So then it shut down. We opened, after a few months. But yeah, like the very beginning part of CrossFit. And I was hooked. So I was obsessed. Went into COVID and everything shut down. We got to like take some equipment home with us and continue to work out. Yeah.
So I find that interesting because you joined right like everything was like shifting like crazy and the world was a mess. But you were just locked in. You just were.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
Wow. And so what was the most effective? How did you get through that time being so new to the sport? Like what was helpful for you, I guess? I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, so I had some equipment at home, was seeing someone who was from a different gym. And so he had other equipment. And so we would meet up like after work days. I don't remember what he was doing. My work at the time at the gymnastics gym, we were building another location. And so like construction workers were considered essential, like had to still work. And so I got like a contract to do construction stuff at the new gym, so I was still able to work a little bit. So we'd meet after work and work out in the garage and the driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had programming from somewhere else. My gym was giving at-home programming and like challenges to do, and so I just did that for like 2 hours after work.
Yeah. It was. I think a lot of people. That was a story for me. It was funny enough. Is actually my first stint in construction. There was a guy from the gym who hired me to work with him in construction for like 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And it was
You're like, I gotta do something.
Yeah, I remember him being like, "Hey, you got to pay the bills," and I was like, "Oh, I'll figure it out." I had no idea what to do, and it was really helpful, actually.
Yeah. I was grateful for the experience. So
yeah, that year was wild.
It was.
I think for everybody. So okay, so you make it through that time. Let's go to your first competition. Like, when was your first like actual competition?
I think my first actual competition was Lone Star. I don't want to say that was in January. Before
This year?
No. Oh no, Lone Star before it was like a Legends.
Okay, gotcha.
Competition or something, like they switched it to a Masters competition. And so it was at this pretty big gym. Went to scaled team, but I want to say it was like maybe 6 months into CrossFit-ish, maybe 4. So I couldn't even do wall balls like consistently.
You were still
like I was getting no reps for not hitting the target. Now, like, mind you, my hand-eye coordination is really, really bad. It's since improved since doing CrossFit because I really didn't play any sports growing up, and so it was really bad. I was getting no reps for wall balls. There was like a rope climb workout, and I could, by the grace of God, be able to climb a rope with GHD sit-ups or something like that. But you couldn't do
awful combination.
Could barely like jump rope. Yeah. So it was quite the experience. Again, loved it. I was so bad. And I was like, this is not happening again. Like, I will not be this bad again. A little bit.
You went out there and it was just not going well, and you were like, I'm going to stay with it.
Yeah, but it was so fun. Like, I was around all the people from the gym, and everyone was so nice. Like, you could tell, though, it was like, it's okay. Like, it'll get better. Like, again, they're being so nice. And like, oh, man, I knew I was just garbage. But thank you.
Yeah. It's one of those things where they're being nice, but it's also like, that was pretty bad.
Yeah. And it was like a 4-person team. So it was 2 guys, 2 girls. And
Thanks. That was your first comp.
Yeah.
Didn't go super.
I don't think we were even close. We didn't take last. I knew that. But It was close. I want to say it was like 8 teams, and we took like 6 or 7. Yeah.
And not last is still a win.
Yep.
It's always a win to some extent. So you get through that phase. When was your next? Like, how often were you competing after that? And like, when did it start to get better?
I really wasn't. I did like maybe 1 or 2 local comps. And then obviously because of COVID, stuff had gotten canceled, moved around. So I really wasn't competing for the first 2 years. And then like 1 or 2, again, local competitions. Didn't do that well. And then I'd done a qualifier to do a competition in Mexico, qualified, and then I dislocated my shoulder. And so then couldn't go and compete. And so I'd say after that, I was like, all right, that's it. Like, I'm going to fully commit to competing. And so rehabbed, got back into it. Wasn't planning on doing that openly that year. And that was the first year of quarterfinals. And so I was like, no, I'm not going to make quarterfinals. Like, I haven't done a bar muscle up in ages. They weren't even that good before my shoulder surgery. Like, I'm not going to do it. And the gym owner at the time was like, look, you coach for us. You're part of the community. Like, just do it scaled.
Yeah.
Just like sign up and do it. And I just wasn't the person that was going to be able to do that. And I was like, I cannot just sign up and not try.
Yeah.
And so went in, tried, made it into the quarterfinals there, obviously. It wasn't super fantastic. I probably shouldn't have done it. I was only like 4 months out of surgery, but I was like, hey, I'll do that. And I was not at 100%. So then went into TFX that following year, did Monster Games, with a partner and some other bigger, like outside of my area competitions, and then did Wadapalooza. And I was like, okay, like this is kind of fun. I'm doing decently. And so kind of kicked it off and then decided that I was going to go, before they changed everything, was going to go teams for a couple of years and then break out as an individual. Here we are. Yeah.
Good segue into the new changes. You going individual. But you've done a lot of competitions. That's crazy.
A few. I've done Wadapalooza twice, TFX twice, once as an individual, and then once on a pro team this last year. And then I'll go back this year as a pro individual.
So when you say pro, what is that? I don't really.
That's their elite division. So it's like pro, RX, intermediate, scaled, or I think they call it rookie.
Okay. So
just the name. Yeah.
Got it. Okay, cool. TFX, that's a really popular one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just go to that one.
It's cold. It's real cold. Yeah. It's like the polar opposite of Wadapalooza. Around the same times, just freezing cold.
Yeah, Miami in January is like, you can't beat that.
I don't know. The past 2 years I've gone, it's been cold and rainy.
Oh, really?
At Wadapalooza. It's like one good day, and then cold and rainy.
Oh, when I was there, so the last time I was there was in 2020, before the pandemic, and it was fantastic. Yeah. It was amazing. It was great.
I think that was the last good year of weather for Wadapalooza.
Man, that sucks. Dang. Mm-hmm. Now you're full on competing. Mm-hmm. The goal is to go individual this year.
Yeah.
What's your hope at the end of the season? You're trying to make it
yeah. I wouldn't say. The goal is obviously to make it to the games. We'll see how this year goes. It really depends on who's still going to continue on with the season and to do CrossFit. So I'll never go into a competition without the goal of going to the games, like going into a semifinal competition. Like the goal is to still make the games, whether that happens or not. But really it is just to do well, which I know that's not a number or something like that. But if I go out there and perform the way that I know how to, everything else is outside of my control. There could be a workout that is not in my wheelhouse. But if I go in and attack it the way I need to, then I'll be happy with it. And then at the end of the day, if they're fitter, they're fitter.
Yeah, you can't control someone else's fitness. You can't control the workouts. You can only control your execution and your attitude. That's what I used to say. Just good attitude and execute well. That's it.
And then based off of what they're coming out with, semifinals isn't going to be hard to make. It's just getting out of semifinals.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother ball of wax.
Yeah, it's the top 1%, and then you can just sign up.
Yeah, I'm dude.
I think, yeah.
Not hard.
No, if you're your typical RX, kind of on the cusp athlete, you're going to make semifinals. Yeah. You're going to sign up and do it.
And then the semis are not in person. They're remote now.
Yeah, well, it's and I don't have all the details, so I could very much be wrong, but it's 2 in-person ones that you can sign up to go do. And then there's the one at your affiliate that you do.
So you only have 2 in-person competitions to try and qualify, or the one that's online. That's it.
Yeah, and I don't know if you can sign up to do multiples either. Because at that point, then do you just do all of them? And
yeah. How are they going to do that though? With all
standardize it? Yeah, I have no idea. Because I'm gonna do better at an in-person competition than I am at my affiliate. It is what it is. But can I do all of them? You what?
Do you like to be in person more?
Yeah.
There's something about it. It's electric.
It is, yeah. And I don't do poorly online, but I just enjoy it. I enjoy being able to see the field, and then I'm good at being able to. Good at knowing what my body is able to do, and then racing the person next to me. So
that's a skill too. People don't realize that's an actual skill. It's not as easy as just show up and do the workout. There's skill to racing and competing. It's a whole thing.
Mind games.
Yeah.
Trying to get someone next to you to go faster, knowing that you're not even at your top speed. Yeah, trying to get them to go into a dark hole while you're still doing okay. Yeah.
So you know who Brent Fikowski is?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're in the CrossFit world, you know who he is. But I remember he said when he was at the games, whatever year, there was like a ski rope climb overhead squat event. He was like, I'm gonna purposely not bend over and act tired.
Yeah.
Like, I want everyone to think that I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that, and he said he was dying. But he was like, I'm not bending over. I'm gonna make them think I'm fine.
Yeah.
Just to their heads.
Just to mess with them, because then you look over and you're like, man, this guy's doing okay. I'm dying right now. Like, how is he okay? And that's like, I've done that in a workout before, so I know the person next to me is doing it.
Mm-hmm. It's all mind game. That's awesome. So, where are you at with like sponsorships and stuff? Your social media is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have a decent following. Have you managed to get any sponsorships or anything in that capacity?
Like paid sponsorships. So I work with a few brands. That's kind of where it's at right now.
Yeah.
So obviously,
is your goal to? Are you trying to grow your social media brand and do the whole thing?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the goal. I would like to make CrossFit a career.
Right.
Well, I mean, like obviously I treat it as one right now, but if I could make it to where I'm getting paid to do it, that would make things a lot easier. So the goal is to hopefully obtain some sponsorships in some way. Right now I just work with brands, and I mean I do plan on coming out with like online programming and stuff like that to help.
Yeah, that's a whole nother world. That was like if I could go back in time and change one thing, it would be to spend more on social media. I didn't do anything with it throughout the course of my career. It really wasn't until the past like 7 or 8 months that I started.
I feel like male athletes don't do it as much.
The only person that I knew that really did it consistently was Noah. I mean, yeah. I was really connected with him.
He was already big because you were with Training Think Tank for a while. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, he got into the sport at the perfect time. He did well at the perfect time. His social media took off, and then he just because he would come up and train here a lot. We would hang out. He was just very consistent with it. Just always posting, making videos, doing the thing, like just always.
When I work with brands, you have like post obligations too. Yeah. And you have to stay on top of it.
Got to. It's a whole nother world. Really, it's a full-time job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the reason I was asking is like, I guess I was asking like if that was your goal, was to make this like a legitimate career, try to make some actual money and do the whole thing, if that was your ultimate goal.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's the goal. I really enjoy what I do now for work. So it's not really just making more money off of it.
Yeah.
But it would, again, it's what I do all the time. So if I can market it to where I'm getting paid to do it, it makes it a lot easier to put in the time to do it.
Yeah.
So
how did you grow your following to where it is now? What was your strategy for that? Did you have one?
This is where everyone hates me. For some reason, I had a video blow up, and it was a video I had posted before.
Before you were even competing?
No, it was me running at Wadapalooza on an air runner, and I posted it earlier that year. It got a few likes, and then I didn't even realize I posted it, and then I posted the same video again, and it just blew up.
Really?
Like almost overnight. And part of it was like people were arguing in the comment section. They were liking it, obviously. And if you just let people argue, and it just brings more traction to your page. So that happened. And then I was like, I don't know why that happened, but I'm going to use it. And so just continued to post after that. And again, by the grace of God, I've been able to hold on to that and just keep going with it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really how it is. It was, that's so funny because that's exactly what happened to me. It was like one video just took off.
Yeah.
And it was
anything special.
It really wasn't. I literally filmed it in 30 seconds. Filmed it. It's super quick. And I was like, I'm just going to post it. Next thing I knew, blowing up. And the comments going crazy. Like, okay. I guess this is happening.
Yeah. I like, again, I didn't do anything. I just let them do their thing. All the trolls, everything. I was like, all right, yep, y'all are fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Say whatever you want. I don't care.
And that's what they don't realize, or maybe they do and they don't care, but they don't realize how much they're actually helping when they do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Instagram will just keep feeding it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And it wasn't a bad video. Like it was, a guy had taken it at Wadapalooza and then sent it to me. And again, yeah,
That's crazy.
I was competing at Monster Games, and then I posted that, and I think I'd said something about competing at Monster Games or TFX or something like that, and it just like a week.
Cool. So yeah, so your goal is to get to hopefully make this a real profession, a whole career. Yeah, I mean, how long do you see yourself competing for? Just as long as you can.
I would say a long time. Yeah. Obviously, life happens, so I'm sure there will be times where I'm not able to be in the gym as much as I am right now, but you can still stay competitive. So I kind of don't see a life where I'm not doing CrossFit in some form or fashion of being competitive. I just really enjoy it. So it's not like I'm forcing myself to do it.
Yeah, you love doing it. You love competing, working out, all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, even with, a future family or whatever, like that's still the plan, is to attack it in some way.
Yeah. You really can't. Like, you really can. They really fit, even if you're not working out 3 or 4 hours a day.
Yes. No, absolutely. I don't think you have to.
Yeah.
What I do is insane right now, but it's not required. At a certain point, your baseline fitness will stay there.
Yeah. Well, and I was actually going to say that to you too. Again, with you and I, like the age gap here, it's like, because I put in that time, and same as you, once you put in the next 7, 8 years of just training really hard, like it'll just stay there.
Mm-hmm.
The minimum effective dose to maintain that level, because the years you put in, it's so low. And that's why I try to get my clients to understand this stuff. It's like, you just have to go through this phase of just invest, and then you're going to be able to cash out forever. Like, it's so worth it.
It's so worth it. It really is. Like, and it wouldn't, like, I'm not going to die if I take a week off.
Yeah, no, yeah, you get
better. It's
better.
still going to be there. Yeah. Like, even after shoulder surgery, I was so concerned. I was like, that's it. I'm probably not going to recover from this or come back or be competitive. And I ended up being way better than when I had hurt my shoulder.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's always encouraging. Go back from an injury stronger, fitter.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty neat.
How is this possible?
Yeah, I don't know. I worked out with one arm. I don't know.
Oh, that's so cool. There was another question I had for you a second ago, and it escaped my mind. I really wanted to ask it. Maybe it'll come back here in a second. Are you still working with a nutrition coach right now, though?
I am. Yeah, I work with Jocelyn.
And that's been super helpful?
Yes. Yeah. I'm sorry, what?
How did you meet her? How did you get connected with
her? So I was working with a brand, Swolverine.
Yeah.
And part of their athlete package that they were offering was a nutrition coach. And it was really neat because I was looking for a nutrition coach at the time, and then I was like, well, now you guys are offering one? Yes.
That's great.
Start working with it. Yeah. And so just started working with her and noticed a huge difference. I enjoyed not having to think about what I was going to eat or put my macros in. She sends me recipes, tells me what times I'm kind of supposed to have these meals and snacks. And I just don't think about it. I just do it.
That's awesome. Have you noticed a pretty big difference?
Oh, yeah. I think I've probably put on like 15 pounds, and I look the best I've ever looked. And I feel the best I've ever looked.
Okay. I want to hit on that because I think what you just said might scare a lot of females. Like, I just put 15 pounds. You know?
Yeah. No, it was trippy. I was like, no, I don't want to put on weight.
Yeah. Okay. So what was your goal to put on weight?
At a point in my strength numbers where I was like, dang, it's just to a point that I'm just not big enough. I just wasn't strong enough, which, yes and no. I still could have gotten stronger at the weight that I was, but I also wasn't feeling the way I needed to get stronger. And so when I started with her, I was like, yeah, I was still, and I like verbatim told her, I was like, I still want to like look good. I don't want it to look like I don't work out, but I do know I need to probably put on some weight to get better. So I already kind of convinced myself that it was something that had to happen. Coming from cheerleading, like, was starving myself, trying to be super skinny. I was like maybe 115 pounds at the time when I got into CrossFit. Body was falling apart. And then so I kind of knew that I needed to eat, but then also gave it to her. I was like, you just tell me what to eat because I won't do it. I'll get so caught up in like, I don't need carb or fats. Like, I'll just have a little bit of protein and some fruit or whatever. And basically. So, yeah. I was eating well, like nothing was bad, but I just wasn't eating enough. So I was like, just like take the wheel and tell me what to do. So I started putting on weight, but then also started looking more muscular. Nice. And so that was kind of like I was starting to look better and look like I did CrossFit more. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not concerned with the weight because I look better. Yeah. Was it scary when she gave you your mask? A little bit. Like when I started, I was like, I can't eat all this food. Like, I'm not hungry. And so, but then also I wanted to be competitive so bad that I was like, I'll just force it. And again, this was like last year. And so it's like, I was like, I don't care if I have to sit down at this table and force feed it. Like, I know I have to in order to feel better. And so then after a couple of months of just sucking it up, basically, now we're at a point where it's just easy. Yeah. That's you. I'm noticing a common thread with you. It's like when you find something that either you're A, not that, or B is really hard, you're like, I want more of it. Yeah, I'm determined. I will not suck at something. That's so cool. I don't think that there's a lot of people out there that are like that. That's really inspiring. Thank you. I don't know why. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's for people to hear, and especially for females. Don't be afraid of eating food. Don't be afraid of lifting weights. Don't be afraid of feeling stupid or looking stupid, at least for a little while. I think I was probably still afraid of looking stupid or feeling stupid. Like if I did something, I'm like, no one's gonna know. Like if I mess up, like no one's gonna know. And so I definitely would, like if I did something dumb, tell no one, but never again. Yeah. And early on in CrossFit, people said that I couldn't do it, and so I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. So it could be like spiteful, like stubborn, a little bit of that mixed in there. Well, whatever it is, it is really cool to see, and you're doing it. I mean, you're competing. You're about to go individual. You got a really good opportunity to go individual, especially with the new setup. I hope so. That's the plan. We're training really hard. We kind of switched gears, after it came out like a couple days ago. We had a talk with Logan. Just what we're gonna do. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, he writes all the programming, and then we just work out together. Gotcha. So him and I just go, and then again we have 2 other dudes that do it with us as well. Gotcha. What supplements are you taking right now? Just out of curiosity. So like for while I'm working out and like pre-workout stuff, I do like Enduriform. Since our training sessions are so long, it's not just like a caffeine booster. It's got like a little bit of beta alanine in it and then some carbs to keep going. And then I take that with creatine. Nice. And then protein and carbs, and then magnesium at night. So fairly simple. And most of my nutrients comes from food. Yeah. Do you do any green supplements? Any like mushroom? That? No. Any turmeric? No, haven't started taking any of that yet. I'll probably start finding vitamins. I can't imagine myself trying to like drink another thing after like protein shakes, magnesium, and trying to get water in too, which is for some reason so hard for me that if I could just take a vitamin, that's probably what I'll end up doing. Yeah, no, I get that. That's cool to hear too, that you're a very minimalist approach there with supplements. Mm-hmm. I think that surprises a lot of people actually. There's no magic pill to like fixing everything. Like supplements are to supplement So it shouldn't be your main source of protein or trying to make yourself feel better. Again, it's supposed to supplement the life. So if something's going wrong, it's probably coming from other main sources.
People are always messaging me, what supplement should I take? What should I do? And it's like, well, how are you eating first?
What's going to make me look jacked?
Yeah.
Probably not my pre-workout. Like, you are welcome to take it, but you need food.
You gotta eat food, and you gotta eat a lot of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, this was awesome. I'm really glad we got to connect. I think people will I've been trying to dodge the sun the whole time on this video.
Yeah.
I think people will really enjoy listening to this, and I think, at least I hope, that females will enjoy hearing this, like hearing from another female who's your age, who's lifting weights and eating food and training hard. And like, I think it'd be really cool for to hear that and not about lifting weights and realize that they're a lot stronger than they realize, and they're a lot more capable than they realize, and they just got to get in the gym and do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of my goal, is to make that more aware to females. Like, again, growing up the way that I did, love them, but what I'm doing now was never imaginable.
No, that's, well, like I said, your grit and determination inspires.
Thank you.
I mean, it's really cool to hear that you just were like, F it, I'm not. All right, well, it was great connecting.
Yeah, thank you.
Where can people find you on social media? What's your handle?
Hannah_L Thompson on Instagram. That's basically my main source of social media.
Cool. Love it. All right, you guys out there watching and listening, this has been Hannah Thompson. I hope y'all enjoyed the episode. If you guys need anything, reach out to myself or Hannah. We'd love to be a resource for you guys. As always, yeah, you're very welcome. As always, you guys keep moving forward.